So it's great to be here at Vanson. It's kind of like being back with a bunch of old friends. We've been working with Vanson Leathers as long as I've been racing, and for most of the time that my father was racing as well, going all the way back to the early 70s. I've never raced in anything other than a Vanson suit in my whole life, and when I come back here, it's fantastic people who are genuine motorcycle enthusiasts who really care about making a product that makes a difference for riders. So, Vanson has been doing this for a long time, and you can build a suit with all kinds of different priorities in mind. And these guys they really focus on protecting the rider. They really focus on using the very best materials they possibly can. And in doing so, in the way that they manufacture the suit, they will last through multiple crashes. And that's something that we can't say about a lot of other suits, even high-end suits. Vanson Leathers, without a doubt, is the most durable suit in the entire industry. And I've seen the evolution of the suit come a long, long way. Maybe you can even see in the background, there's a suit there that I'm not sure when that was made, maybe in the 20s. I don't know. My father was riding it. So, and it's just, it was based on just making a suit out of the best possible cowhide they could so it would stay together and keep your skin together. But I've crashed in a suit like that, and it didn't feel very good. I can say through 30 years of riding and racing on the racetrack that I've never had my skin exposed to the track, and that's a pretty big statement. I've fallen off at 150, 160 miles an hour on multiple occasions, and the suit's always held together. It's always done its job. That original suit did not do such a good job of protecting my bones. I got pretty beat up and swollen because there wasn't any padding or armor or anything in those days. It was just a leather suit meant to protect your skin. And of course, over the years, the suits have evolved a ton. I've watched Mike do all kinds of good things with putting armor in suits, and we helped develop that through a bunch of different cycles, a bunch of different iterations, and they're always working and developing and getting feedback with riders on how to make things protect better and be more comfortable and that kind of thing. And then several years ago, we were a part of helping them introduce this double zipper design, which has kind of become a Vanson trademark. It's one of the things I really love, and I have in all of my suits. It makes it really easy to cool yourself off, get in and out of the suit easy, all those kind of things that they think about because they talk to riders and they understand what they really need. And so as we evolve and go down the road, there's all this technology, and now you see the riders at the world level using suits with air in them to protect themselves, and there's obvious advantages to that. You land on the suit, and it's going to make a lot less likely to break ribs, puncture lungs, break collarbones, all those kind of things that can become, unfortunately, common injuries. And so, as they always do, Vanson did some outside-the-box thinking and wanted to figure out a way to have an airbag suit that was integral to the suit itself, not necessarily a vest that you wore over it. And some riders like those, but a lot of people just want to have one thing they can put on and get it all done in one shot. And so they're really catering to that market. And then they, more importantly, they understand that racers need to be able to get right back out there and use their suit again and do it at not such a great expense. So they went through a lot of trouble and iterations to make sure that the suit had an easily rider replaceable CO2 cartridge that would help inflate the suit, and they've successfully done that. I was talking to Mike earlier, and I think that the cost to replace the cartridge that inflates this airbag suit is a whopping $18, which pales in comparison to the very high cost, several $100s in many instances, to use other options in the market. So these are the kind of things that they think about, and why one of the reasons that we're so proud to use Vanson as a Penguin School. Speaking of the Penguin School, Mike asked me to talk about that a little bit. I mean, we are the oldest running racing school in the United States. We've been doing it since 1973. I took over in the mid-90s and have tried to evolve it. When we first started, it was just an attempt to make racing safe, believe it or not. When in the early 70s, when racing was just getting going, there was no formal licensing process. They kind of just fed the riders up to the wolves, and as a result, there was a lot of injuries and a lot of unsafe things going on. So the Penguin School was spawned out of how to make racing much safer. My father and Joe Ziegler came up with a curriculum to make sure that the new riders got a proper education and had a really good idea of what was going on before they got to the race. And then as it evolved, guys like Johnny Betancourt and Dale Quarterly came along, and they introduced an advanced course as there were demands for just beyond riders getting their license, but riders who wanted to become educated on how to ride better, how to ride like the pros do. What are the line strategies? What's the techniques? All that kind of thing. And those guys were fantastic mentors for me. I was very, very fortunate to learn from those guys, both my father and Johnny Betancourt and Dale Quarterly. I look at those guys as some of my very early mentors. Some of the guys that had a frequent involvement in the program, like Randy Renfro, and lots of the guest instructors we had along the way. And then a little while ago, as the track day market started to expand and there was more people riding the racetrack who were doing less racing, or perhaps using track days as a stepping stone into racing. The Penguin School introduced a new kind of track experience course, which was really not so much focused on racing, but just focusing on riding techniques and how to develop yourself into a better rider. And we've developed a curriculum that really focuses on how to use the racetrack as a tool to learn how to make yourself a better rider, even if you're just going to ride on the street. The repeatability and the opportunity to practice purposefully and develop the skills that become automatic reactions, so that you go out there and you ride on the racetrack. To develop these skills, you do them over and over again until you build muscle memory. And then if something happens to you on the roads, a car pulls out in front of you, there's an unexpected hazard, the habits you built yourself on the racetrack can literally save you on the street. And so there's kind of 3 levels of the program now, between that track experience program, our basic license certification course, and our advanced course. And we enjoy working with riders all up and down the East Coast. We're actually doing our first school this next week out in Laguna Seca with Ducati, and we're excited to do that. There's a fantastic group of top-level riders that we're going to be out there with, and we're going to be debuting this Vanson suit at that event, and we're excited to really go out there and give it a test, although hopefully we don't do the real test, but go out there and put it through its paces on the racetrack and show the world that there's an American-made company that really cares about riders and is making some top-quality stuff out there. So I appreciate the opportunity with Mike and Vanson and everyone here to try this suit out and to help develop it with them, and I'm sure there'll be lots of great things in years to come.